fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got rid of the outside, both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up to
Oh my god! Oh! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Six very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go!
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
Welcome one and welcome all to SimSpeed TV this Tuesday night, 5th of January 2021. It's a great start to the new year because we are at Crandon International Raceway for the next round of the Pro Truck Showdown Summer Series. We've decided to completely change things up. Not only are we at an off-road racing track, but we've also put our regular Pro 2 off-road racing truck in the shed. And we're going to be racing the Pro 4s. A bit more power, 2 more wheels being driven at the front, and certainly some crazy racing. My name is Reese Gardner for SimSpeed TV, and joining me in the commentary box this time is Nick Skariev. Nick, wow, what a place this Crandon International Raceway is as we take a look at its location in upstate Wisconsin. It's been around since 1970, and you could pretty much say it's the capital of American off-road racing.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Reese. So we're doing the long layout here, so some pretty high speeds there that run up and down that long straight, as well as that big rampage start. So reasonably long track for an off-road track there at 1.61, just over a mile in length.
Yes, indeed, and you see the start area there, the Land Rush, 15 wide starts here, which certainly makes for some chaos when the drivers get off the line. And we're going to take a look at what it's like to pilot a Pro 4 around Crandon International Raceway. Cameron Dance, who's usually my commentary partner on this series, decided to take us around in the Pro 4. And let's see what it takes. You have to really line up the final turn and go over the jumps as you start the lap, immediately over the line. And coming up to turn 2, more dips, which unsettle the truck, and you've really got to get into a flow with your brake and your throttle. This hairpin turn could be an overtaking opportunity, but you've got what doesn't seem like a straight, but effectively is as you come over the top of the crest. A little bit of a minor jump there, and you're immediately on the brakes for this incredibly tight hairpin, which is probably one of the places we're going to see the most action, the most passes as we pass the start area. This is where the drivers are going to be setting off tonight in the races. And then a very fast turn to bring us into the second part of the lap. It's hard to line it up because the wall's right there on the inside. And then a mega jump. You have to initiate the turn before you get into midair. And keep control of the suspension, keep control of the contact patch of your tires. A very hard hit of the ground there for Cameron Dance. And then around this 180-degree hairpin, the second last turn on the circuit, and over the jump one more time before we brake all the way down into second gear for a very tight turn to finish off the lap. That is Crandon International Raceway. I love driving machines around here, love watching them just as much. And Nick, that just shows one aspect of what the drivers will be dealing with tonight. It's hard enough to get a car around here on your own, but we've got about 30 drivers here tonight, and they'll all be competing for the same space of dirt.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely chaos. We go through that, we saw that right-hand kink at such a high rate of speed into that jump where we probably expect to see probably mid-air collisions and all kinds of chaos as they're trying to sort themselves out. It's definitely a track with like some really fast corners, some really tight corners, especially that hairpin down the very end, that really big overtaking opportunity there. You can almost run it like a speedway car. Some people will go high and some people will go low.
Yeah, certainly will. And we'll see how all the drivers tackle it as the number 2 of Bob King there. making his way through the second half of the circuit. We're in qualifying at the moment. Every driver has 1 lap with which to set their time, and considering that Mr. King hit the wall there, I think that lap will be invalidated unless that is an outlap. One of our regular competitors in the Pro Truck Showdown, Dwayne Priest, taking his Pro 4 truck around. As I mentioned, these things are 4-wheel drive, so they seem at first a bit easier to drive than the rear-wheel drive Pro 2s, but you carry a lot more speed in these things, and they do require a unique driving style of their own, as we see Brenton Hobson monstering that jump.
Yeah, absolutely. And as well, somewhere in the realm of between 700 and 900 horsepower as well, so you can see them really fighting for traction on some of those uphill sections as well. We're just catching Hobbo come through there, keeping it really tight there around that, and it's almost like trying to pitch the car up and just keeping those slides to a minimum.
Yeah, well, Hobbo's definitely going full sideways into the corners here. Let's see what time he ends up setting. There is not going to be a time because I think, as we saw a little earlier, he hit the wall. That's a 0x and an invalidated lap. What about the number 83 of Daniel Hartigan, who we usually see competing in the dirt oval racing we broadcast on SimSpeed TV with Oceanic Dirt Sim events. First time I've seen him in a car that's not exclusively turning right to go left. We'll see how his time stacks up. In terms of what we've seen so far, you can see Bo Albert and Bob King both at the top of the timesheets there, and not much separating them, but they've got a sizable gap to Dance and Dylan and further on back. Bo Albert really putting his rallycross experience to good use there.
Yeah, some really close blow-ins with Bo Albert. Also, as you mentioned as well, Hartigan as well as Bob King, some really big hitters in the dirt oval scene in Australia.
Yes, indeed. Looks like that is qualifying over. And now we can get ready to go for the first heat of the night. 31 drivers getting ready to line up here. I cannot believe this. It's going to be headed up by Bo Albert, with Bob King joining him in second place. Dance in third, Cameron there, with Aaron Dillon in fourth place. Mitchell McLeod, Justin Howe, fifth and sixth. Brady Baldwin, another usual dirt oval regular, in seventh, with Jaden Russell alongside him. Tyler Barton and Ryan Jones rounding out the top 10.
Just up outside that top 10 there, we've got Dwayne Priest, as we saw in his qualifying before, Lindsay Hobbs, Lockie Dalton and Jake Clem, Nicholas Walsh, Daniel Stevens, we've seen quite a lot of him in previous rounds, Brian Therese, Brett Selby-Wood, Daniel Hartigan and Jack Flood.
And that's 20 of the 31 drivers here. Wilhelm Layton, Ricardo Morganti, Craig Roffey, Zach Blanche, Hobbo 88 lining up in 25th, with Todd Maxfield, Tom Relier, Gary Willman, Damian Westbrook and Kate Donnelly rounding out the 30. Our final car here tonight is Michael Bianchini in 31st. And there is the Land Rush start, the famous Land Rush start here at Crandon International Raceway. It basically means that if you qualify in what's usually the first row of a regular race, well, you don't get the advantage that you'd think you would, because all of the 15 drivers next to you, well, they're going to be starting right alongside. So that's Bo Albert's view of the start. He's going to have to be careful not to lose too much traction over the grass, as we see the view from Lockie Dalton and Dwayne Priest's perspective here as well. Just 10 seconds left in the gridding period, and all of these drivers will be ready to go for 5 laps around Crandon for the first heat of the night. We hear the revs rising gradually. Everyone just getting ready to go. The final car joins the grid. Lap 0 of 5 will become lap 1 of 5 pretty soon. And we are away for the Pro Truck Showdown Summer Series at Crandon. We've already seen someone blow an engine there off the start, and a couple of drivers come together. Looks like that was Brian Trezise who blew his engine there as they all file into the first racing turns. Bo Albert leads the way. Justin Howe has moved up into second place as there's a big pile up there as they come over the hill. Half the field has been collected in that. A complete mess of trucks. Todd Maxfield, Lindsay Hobbs, Damian Westbrook, Ricardo Morganti, Jaden Russell, all involved in that. Jack Flood tumbling over as well. But the drivers here at the front of the field, they're not going to worry about that. Bo Albert has a race he wants to win as they come up to the start-finish line to properly begin the first lap. Oh no, Justin Howe just got knocked right into him there. Bob King going up the inside of the final turn, with Cameron Dance now having made contact with Brady Baldwin, getting sent spearing off the circuit. And oh no, Cameron, that's very unfortunate for you. That is going to be a retirement from this first heat for him. What a lap so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Bo Albert's still out the front there at the moment, qualifying on pole. I wasn't too sure how he's going to go with the land rush start there. Currently, just with a gap there at the moment there. Oh, it's a bit of biffing and barging up. It only looks like about 10 cars or so made it through cleanly, so we've seen quite a few trucks there having to three-point turners. We've just had another car go off in the background. That's on a pretty unique part of the circuit. I think that was Willem Leighton there, so he's going to try and ride himself up. But Bo Albert in the lead on lap 1.
Yep, doing very well too, as there's an awful lot of casualties from that first lap. We check in with the number 15 there of Craig Roffey. He's got problems with his engine at the moment. That might go pop imminently. But the battle for the top 3 is on and on indeed. Bo Albert has not been able to get away from Justin Howe and Bob King here. King firing it up the inside there, trying to line up a straight exit from the final turn, but he just can't keep the momentum up with Justin Howe right alongside him. Looks like the top 3 have well and truly broken away from the rest of the field. And oh no, there we go. Bob King attempting a move up the inside at turn 2, knocking Justin Howe wide and doing it again at turn 4. This is quite the intense battle they are having, and all it's doing is helping Bo Albert to get away.
Yeah, Bob King not shy at all there. Absolutely tapping there into the side there of Bob King almost on every lap there. Pulls up alongside there as they're accelerating there out of that hairpin. Oh, it does look like a straight, but there's actually some humps there on there, so it's very hard to keep the car pointing in a straight line as they come around Bo Albert well and truly clear of the 2 behind him at the moment. So he looks to be about half a second or 0.6 of a second, so he's well without striking range at the moment. But Justin Howe definitely within striking range of Bob King there. So he's going to be under a lot of pressure to defend that second place.
Michael Bianchini was showing up there in first place briefly. The reason being, I think he cut a big part of the lap out after recovering from a crash. Unfortunately, he's retired now, so he is down in the pits, and Bo Albert is now going to be classified back in the lead of this one as we see more racing going on throughout the field. Mitchell McLeod and Brenton Hobson, the 2 streamers, at it for 5th and 6th, coming into turn 3. Very aggressive turn in there from Hobbo as he smashes back down onto the clay and almost half spinning there, but that's going to straighten up his exit, and he might be able to carry some of that momentum into the next turn. They've got Brady Baldwin right up ahead of them as well, so another advantage that can certainly be gained. McLeod going incredibly deep into the hairpin, which allows Hobbo back alongside him. But see that wider exit, that's actually a benefit in these trucks. Allows you to carry a bit more momentum, get on the throttle a bit sooner, and you can protect the position.
Yeah, we're actually seeing this top 5 bunch up quite a lot there. I think that's Cameron Dance there, a lap car down, but we can just see, especially for that 4th, 5th and 6th position there, might just be able to catch them up on screen there of Mitch McLeod, Hobbo 88, and I think that was Bradley Baldwin as well. So looks like these top 3 are pretty safe there at the moment, and Bo Albert's really starting to walk away there. He's almost at a 2-second gap there, but we've just had
there's trouble because Wilhelm Leighton is right there, and he's actually come together with Bo Albert. So Hobbo's over as well. Some chaos has erupted. Wilhelm Leighton, with an extremely damaged truck, has not been able to get out of the way of the leaders without contact. So that means that Bo Albert has lost the lead. He's gone down to 4th place. Justin Howe is now your leader. And that all happened right at the start-finish line. So Justin Howe and Bob King, they were fighting incredibly hard for second, and now it's turned into a fight for the lead.
Yeah, such a short track there. We have, I think we're just seeing Mitch McLeod over there, but yeah, such a short track. Lap traffic is such a major problem. We did see Cameron Dance lap down as well, but he was well clear. Unfortunately, that damaged car there, had collected up Bo Albert, so a bit unfortunate for him there, but Bo's still sitting pretty strong there in fourth. Not too far off the lead either. He's only sitting about 2 seconds back there, so still got about, it's 5 laps, so I'm trying to work out what lap we're on. We're on lap 4 at the moment, so it could still be anyone's game in this top 5 here at the moment.
Yeah, certainly could. The two leaders coming together there once again in the second last corner. So now is going to be crunch time for Justin Howe, Bob King, and Brady Baldwin. Can they maintain their podium positions, or can Bo Albert fight his way back for a race win? Bob King right on the back now of Justin Howe as we saw a truck go right off the circuit. Let's see if he can defend this one. Brady Baldwin is looking very aggressive as the two leaders make contact. They were all bunched up now. There's Bo Albert just behind Brady Baldwin. And side by side for the lead, Justin Howe on the inside coming up to the left-hand hairpin. Bob King a bit later on the brakes, maintaining it round the outside. Can he carry that momentum and go for the lead? No, he cannot. Only just ahead still is Justin Howe, but didn't have as good of a ride over the jumps. That means that King's going to have the inside here for the sweeping right-hander, and he secures the lead, but they make contact bumper to bumper, almost can't get out of each other's hair. Brady Baldwin will be smelling blood here as they've only got a couple of turns left to go here at Crandon. Bob King running a little wide and out into the rough clay. That's not going to harm him too much. Is there going to be a last second dive here at the second last turn? Yes, Brady Baldwin backing it in there and bumping Justin Howe out of the way. That's going to put him behind Bo Albert, but Bo gets knocked off the circuit himself. Howe has to, oh no, Justin Howe's completely flipped over. What a good drive from him, ruined at the last second. But for Bob King, it's going to be the win. Fantastic drive. And Brady Baldwin in second, Bo Albert completing the podium. Tyler Barton has managed to fight his way up from a 9th place start to finish 4th. I mean, my goodness, what a race that was to start things off tonight.
I know, and this is only Heat 1. You'd think this was almost the feature these guys were fighting for, so pretty unfortunate there for Justin Howe. You almost really want to play it safe in these early heats so you can get yourself to the main straight away there, but I think he might have just got in by the skin of his teeth there.
Yeah, well, there's no danger of being eliminated in this series. All cars make it through every heat, so everyone's going to still be competing. There are the final results there. Bob King by 6/10 from Brady Baldwin, with Bo Albert just 1.4 seconds behind the race lead, but that could have been him there at the top step of the podium. The rest of the top 10, McLeod, Maxfield, Jones, Wellman, and Hobbs coming home 16.4 seconds behind. Not bad coverage there of the top 10. Unfortunately, Justin Howe and Jaden Russell did not have a great race at all. They ultimately had to settle for the minor positions after getting knocked out early on. And, well, with 30 drivers here, there were going to be quite a few that had a bad time. Very rough racing out there here at Crandon. But we're going to move through now into the B main here. The second race, we extend the lap length to 7, and we go again.
Yeah, we're seeing some real, especially from some of the dirt oval guys there, really flicking these, like, I think they're almost 2,000 kilos or 3,900 pound trucks as they go around. Brady Baldwin with an absolute flick there into Justin Howe, which unfortunately for Justin took him out of contention. So such drama, and yeah, by the time you catch your breath, it's all going to happen again here. So hopefully this time for Bo Albert, he can have a bit more of a cleaner run.
Yeah, let's hope so. But Bob King is going to be in the first starting spot there all the way over on the left-hand side of your screen as the timer is now down. And we're going to go racing again for another 7 laps here at Crandon. The revs rise. And we are away. Have a look at that beautiful sight. 30 trucks at once, and already there's contact again and a pile-up developing in the back. Oh my goodness, there's cars sideways everywhere. Craig Roffey's been spun. Cameron Dance, Aaron Dillon, Daniel Hartigan, Wilhelm Leighton, Nicholas Walsh and Brett Selby-Wood, all involved in a huge start pile-up. Cameron Dance has just been sent tumbling over again as there's more chaos all throughout the field. Up the front though, oh my goodness, they just can't get out of each other's hair, can they? I think a couple of people have to escape back to the pits there. Poor Riccardo Morganti has his corner wedged. And wow. Oh my goodness, it's happened again. I can't keep track of this, Nick.
What an absolute start there by Gary Wellman. He almost had about 3 lengths, I reckon, on the rest of the field in, I reckon, only a few hundred metres. So I'm not too sure if that was a jump start, but I think it was a validated start there. Bo Albert and Bob King there in second and third respectively. So they've made the most of their inside line. But what an absolute start there by Gary. I think he was almost all the way to the left-hand side there of that front row. So currently it looks to be about half a second there at the moment to Bo Albert. But, oh, Bob King. Oh, whether or not he missed his... Yeah, that's pretty savage. Potentially might have missed his braking marker there. But, yeah, Bob King definitely getting the elbows out on everyone. No one's safe from him here at the moment.
No, Lindsay Hobbs got sent over at the hairpin as well. He's managed to recover. As we keep track of what's going on at the front of the field here, there's Wellman, Albert, and Brady Baldwin all together. Sorry, Bob King. Oh my goodness, Hobbo. There's been a problem there for Brenton Hobson. I think he's fallen outside the circuit somehow. We'll get a Racecraft Simulations replay. Of course, Racecraft, a big supporter of the Pro Truck Showdown Summer Series. Let's have a look at what happened to him here. Dwayne Preece and Ryan Jones just behind Brenton Hobson here, coming through the very fast section of the circuit where you really got to be careful how your truck lands. You don't want to get too sideways, but there we go. Hobbo just rolled over and ended up going outside the bounds of the track. He's been sent straight back to the pit lane. As we go back to live pictures, it looks like there's going to be a move for the lead happening because Bo Albert, coming alongside Gary Wellman on the exit of turn 4, and this could be a move down at the hairpin. Albert on the inside, but got to be careful how you get on the brakes there. He gets one hell of a tap there from Bob King as he tries backing it into the corner. But Gary Wellman seems to have this under control for the time being.
Yeah, Gary Wellman starting from 9th position, really commanding this race there at the moment. Bo Albert very gentlemanly, giving room potentially where he could get the elbows out a little bit more there. Bob King again with a tap from behind. So Bob King pretty desperate in to get that second place there. Just see, I forget who was in that green car. He's on his side again. Yeah, William Layton there on his side again there. But all sitting pretty well there at the moment. Bradley Baldwin has closed that gap there into the back there of Bob King, choosing to go that really wide line there. You can see that momentum that he would pull onto Bob King as they go over the little humps there, keep it nice and tight there through that left-hand kink. Just seeing Bo Albert and Gary just pulling that about another half second there onto Bob King, so nearly out of striking range. That Bob King is pretty well known to go very deep into that hairpin at the end.
Yeah, he certainly is, but he's got plenty of space. He won't have to worry about hitting Bo Albert this time. There we go, just avoiding him. Wow. But it seems that it's now a battle for first and second, and then a battle for third and fourth that has developed. King and Baldwin now together. Of course, they're very familiar with each other. They run a league together, Oceanic Dirt Sim Events. So there's plenty of respect between these two guys, and we should get a good race. Bo Albert has flipped. He's gone off the jump completely wrong. Caught his right-hand side tyres, and oh goodness, that would be an unsafe rejoin in any other series. Dwayne Preece now with a few extra dents on his front bumper, with Mitchell McLeod right behind him and going for the move, seeing the opportunity. He's hoping that Bo Albert's flip has flustered Preece there, but manages to hold it round the outside, does Dwayne, which gives him the inside for this final corner.
Yeah, that's such a messy jump going through there. You hit it as you're sliding through there. Oh, gee, Mitch McLeod and Dwayne Preece there, side by side there. Mitch McLeod landing a little bit twisted there, bumping Dwayne Preece there to the edge. But sorry, as I was saying, it's not a straight jump when you take it. You're actually kind of sliding through there. So as we saw Bo Albert there, just a little bit too crossed up there, and it can bounce you over with this really, I think, a 20-inch of suspension travel. So it can flip you over pretty quick there.
Yeah, certainly can. Mitchell McLeod still trying to find a way past Dwayne Preece here. Managed to get on the inside, and let's see if he can carry that momentum down to the fast right-hander. getting over the jumps quite nicely, but looks like Priest has managed to consolidate that position for now, so no dice so far. McLeod, though, does have a chance if he can sneak one up the inside in this section of the circuit. No opportunity there so far, but we know how racy Mitch McLeod is. We know how racy Dwayne Priest is. This battle is going to last for some time. An update on our lead, by the way. Gary Wellman has now managed to gap Bob King and Brady Baldwin, with Bo Albert now out of the picture. That's a bit less pressure on Gary.
Yeah, and especially with Bob King's lunges that he's been pulling on some of the other trucks here. A second or over a second gap is definitely what you want. You don't want to be within that striking range of when he slides that through. So just looking at Dwayne Priest there at the moment, keeping it in really tight there. Bit of a hip check from Mitch McLeod. You can see the different lines that they take there. Mitch McLeod really throwing that car a little bit more, the truck a little bit more sideways in a little bit earlier there. Oh, absolutely awesome overtake there. That's definitely out of the Speedway book, I would say there.
That's pretty awesome there, as we're hearing something about Gary Wellman. He's gone. He has left the circuit, left the server entirely, perhaps. That might be some technical issues there for Gary, which would be a real shame, as, well, Mitch McLeod can say goodbye to Dwayne Priest now, if you just saw what happened there. That's unfortunate there for Gary Wellman. He was doing quite a good job there in the lead of this one. And to have it taken away from you like that is never a good thing. For Daniel Hartigan and Daniel Stevens, though, they're fighting hard for 12th and 13th place.
Yeah, it really goes to show how much it all can be taken away so quickly there. We're just catching a racecraft replay.
That's Brady Baldwin, who's had an issue there at the final corner, over the jump actually. Oh no, just outside the bounds, and then, oh no, he's going to hit the wall, isn't he? Oh, goodness me. That's a fair whack to the front end of that truck. So now Brady is going to fall down the order and try and nurse that thing to the finish. This track just bites when you least expect it.
Yeah, very lucky as well. You just saw actually in the background Bob King and Bo Albert just going past there as they went through, so he's super lucky there that he didn't reverse onto the racing line. Those guys wouldn't have been able to see him as well, because he was over the end of a jump there. So Bo Albert, bit of a good drive back to where he was, having that rollover earlier on. So within about, I think he's about 5 seconds back there, so from Bob King, which is, yeah, providing no mistakes for Bob King, which anything can happen, as we've seen tonight there. Looks like a pretty safe second place here from Bo Albert, as we've just seen Daniel Hartigan on his roof as well.
Yeah, the track claims another victim as the final lap starts for Bob King. We'll get a quick replay, see what happened to him. And this is down in that area of the circuit where we've seen Bo Albert tip over. We've seen carnage on the first lap. Let's see what happened to Hartigan. Just gets a bit too sideways over the jump, and oh, okay, that's what happened. There was a truck right there on the racing line. Zach Blanche at a standstill. Looks like there was nothing Daniel Hartigan could do, and that's the reason why Zach Blanche was where he was. Tried to get off the racing line, but, well, Daniel Hartigan was heading for that exact spot. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, being a blind jump, he wouldn't have been able to see him, and yeah, the spotter or anything wouldn't have been able to do much either. So we're just seeing Bob King now coming through there. Absolute stellar effort there from Bob King. Really played out on everyone, really getting the elbows out there. I think Bo Albert's just under a little bit of pressure here from Mitch McLeod, but I think he's going to be able to get away from it in second place there.
Well, for Bob King, that's going to be an easy victory, and Bo Albert manages to recover to second after his rollover. And Mitch McLeod coming home in third place, followed very closely by Dwayne Priest, Damian Westbrook and Justin Howe fighting super hard there for 5th and 6th. It looks like Justin Howe just finishing ahead of him there. with Ryan Jones completing the top 5. That's a pretty stellar effort from Ryan after starting in 8th and exiting that particular race in style, as we see more drivers now come across the start-finish line. There were quite a few stories in that race that did not end well for the drivers out there, but Bob King taking the win by more than 5 seconds from Bo Albert, with McLeod, Preece and Jones rounding out the 5. Tyler Barton managing to come home in 8th place, with Brian Traziz and Kay Donnelly rounding out the top 10. Damian Westbrook in 7th place as well. Another good drive from him.
Yeah, just outside the top 10, Daniel Stevens to Lockie Dalton. Brady Baldwin, we saw, was right up there in the top 5. Unfortunate incident has put him down to 13th. Tom Riella, Brenton Hobson, we've seen pretty rough both couple of races, as well as Cameron Dance. Craig Roffey there in 17th. Jack Flood, Daniel Hartigan, and Gary Wellman, who we saw leave the server after leading the race.
Yeah, big shame there for Gary, but that's the first 2 races done there tonight. Can Gary Wellman get some redemption, and can Bo Albert come home with his elusive victory here tonight? We'll have to wait and see. 5-minute warm-up while the drivers have their expression session out on track, and we get a chance to catch our breaths. We're SimSpeed TV. This is the Pro Truck Showdown Summer Series from Crandon.
Fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction. He's got everything outside. Both of them. Maloney.
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up top.
Oh my God. Oh. Big crash. Oh my goodness. Half the field's going to get rolled.
Six very close. These guys are going to want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go. Oh no.
That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my God!
God, what?
You're watching the Pro Truck Showdown Summer Series, presented by Racecraft Simulations here on SimSpeed TV. If you're just joining us, I'm Reese Gardner and Nick Skariev is with me in the commentary box. We've had some interesting racing to start off with, Nick, but 2 clear front runners have emerged, and they are the 2 Rallycross pros. Of course, Bob King was a competitor in the iRacing Pro Rallycross series in its first season, and Bo Albert is currently part of the pro squad as well. They're up at the very top of Rallycross sim racing competition, and they've shown their worth here tonight at Crandon.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. Bob King really showing how strong he is, and knowing when to lean on other people and knowing when to back off has really paid dividends. We could see when he was at the front there in that second race, like putting a 5-second gap there on the rest of the field, so he really knows when he's got some clean track ahead of him, he's really off and running.
Yeah, he certainly is. He was the winner of Heat 1, he was the winner of Heat 2, and now for the third heat, he is going to start on the pole position as well, which means all the way over to driver's right. Of course, Crandon, the home of the magnificent Land Rush start here. So let's see if Bob King can make it 3 from 3 tonight and take a complete overall victory. Bo Albert is searching for the elusive win. He set the fastest time in qualifying, but got knocked out of the lead in both races so far. As the revs rise here for the third race, 9 laps this one, and away we go. Bob King and Bo Albert. Looks like Albert getting the better start here off the front row of the grid, but the number 77 of Brian Trezise has already been turned around and causing a pile up, and oh no, that's Cameron Dance in the number 6 tumbling over. I think he's regretting his decision to race tonight instead of commentate, as will these guys. Look at the pile up that's happening in the middle of the field. I can't even begin to tell you who's involved in that, and that's another sausage roll on the side of his truck for Daniel Stevens. Of course, he puts a sausage roll on his door every single time he gets flipped over, and well, giving Cameron Dance a bit of a shove as well for good measure. Justin Howe, meanwhile, fighting hard here at the front of this train. Mitchell McLeod along with him. Oh no, Gary Wellman, I think, has been turned over as well in the midst of all of this. But for the race lead there, Justin Howe getting passed by Bob King, with Mitchell McLeod now round the outside of the second turn and just shoves him out of the way, coming through the hairpin. Where on earth is Bo Albert?
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, we just had him go. On that left-hand hairpin down the bottom. He unfortunately got ejected into the stratosphere, which put him into the pits there. So that is Bo Albert done.
Yeah, Brenton Hobson is done as well. He's actually stuck in the wall right now on the exit of that hairpin. As we take a look on board with Tyler Barton, just gives Justin Howe a brief touch through the big fast turn here at the bottom of the circuit. I love this view, shows you just how much airtime these trucks get. That's a retirement for Brenton Hobson. His engine's just blowing, and he'll join Bo Albert there in the pits as Bob King now tries to get the lead back from Mitchell McLeod here. This is the tightest fight for the lead I think we've seen yet tonight. There's an entire group of trucks all fighting for this one top position, but McLeod, it seems, has made good on that for now, with Justin Howe trying his best to take second from Bob King. Can't do anything more than a couple of taps, though, as Brady Baldwin we see fighting with Ryan Jones.
Yeah, we're seeing Tyler Barton here just joining this group before here at the front there. So Mitch McLeod, we've seen, I think it was like 2 fifth places or it was somewhere around about then. So Mitch just shuffling his way in front of Bob King now. So with the upper hand to Bob King at the moment, Bob King definitely within striking range. You'll see as he comes through, he'll brake really late and throw it quite sideways there. Just getting that inside line there. We can just see Dwayne Priest there. And I think that was Tyler Barton as well. Just a little bit further off, you can just see Bob King there and Mitch McLeod pulling away.
Yeah, and they're doing a pretty good job of it as well. But oh, look at that air there from Bob King. He's just trying to force one up the inside here on Mitch McLeod, and it looks like he's managed to get it done there. Just tries to take the shortest route he can into the second last turn, and he is ahead at the turn-in point, but McLeod, it looks like, is going to get it right back from him. A very prescient move there from Mitch. Fantastic racing here between our two leaders. Got to be careful of that wall on the outside, though, because that's what claimed Brady Baldwin in the last race. Oh, no. There we go. McLeod up and over. Justin Howe giving him one heck of a tap on the side. Fortunately, McLeod's managed to get back going, but after fighting for the race lead, well, he's going to have to settle for 6th from now.
Yeah, this is a bit of a longer race here with 9 laps, so he might be able to make a bit more of a dent here in some of the people a little bit further. Big winner as well, Ryan Jones there, shuffling his way up into 4th, as well as Tyler Bart. So 2 that we haven't seen too much of tonight there. Quite achievers there coming up, and we're just actually seen there. Oh, I think that just off screen there, I think we might have just seen, I think it was either Mitch McLeod or Bradley Baldwin there up the inside of Ryan Jones.
Yeah, Brady Baldwin and Ryan Jones are together at the moment, and Baldwin trying one up the inside of Jones, but you see how slick the racing line is getting at the moment. That's part of iRacing's dynamic track. As more rubber gets pounded over that dirt surface, it compresses, it heats up, and it turns slick, which is not good news for an off-road racing truck like this. Ryan Jones managed to make his way past Brady Baldwin, and he might just stay there for the time being, because very sideways was Brady on the exit. But checking back in with our race leaders, Bob King here trying his best to keep it together versus Justin Howe. He's still going for those outside exits to maintain the momentum, and it seems like he's just avoiding the slickness as much as he can. But look at the momentum there from Justin Howe. Can he fire it up the inside? Yes, he can, but can he keep it? Bob King just mashes the throttle and stays ahead ever so slightly for the time being. He gives Justin Howe the room on the inside, and this might be a move attempt. Bob King once again going very deep, but Justin Howe parks it on the apex right in front of him. Slid into the perfect spot to take the race lead.
Yeah, I was just about to say, if you're Justin Howe, you don't want to let Bob King get away, because as we've seen in the first couple of races there, when he's got clear track ahead of him, he's absolutely unstoppable. What an overtake there by Justin Howe. Absolutely timed it to perfection, sliding that Pro 4 truck right onto Bob King's nose and blocking his momentum exit off there. He's currently sitting, I think he's about 0.8 of a second there at the moment, so Bob King won't be close enough there to put an attack in. And now Bob King's going to be under a little bit of pressure now from Tyler Barton, who's just trying to stay on the back of these two. I've just seen Damien Westbrook.
Yeah. Oh, goodness me. Damien Westbrook recovering from an incident with another truck there, and just throwing caution to the wind, getting back onto the circuit. There's plenty of stuff happening throughout the field, but the lead battle's still one of the places to be. We did briefly check in with Craig Roffey and Lindsay Hobbs, who are battling for 7th and 8th. It looks like that battle has been put paid. Roffey now just behind Mitchell McLeod, who remains in 6th place. Meanwhile, for 4th and 5th just ahead, Ryan Jones and Brady Baldwin. You see our three leaders coming through here, Bob King, Justin Howe and Tyler Barton. And then there goes Brady Baldwin and Ryan Jones. Baldwin getting into the side of Jones and taking the position. A little bit of biff and barge is never out of the question in these trucks.
Yeah, Brady Baldwin has a very unique driving style there. Ryan Jones, that's 160k an hour there through that section, so pretty game there. Tapping the side there, that's very, very rough jump there from both of them, but they've both managed to keep rubber side down there. But you watch here with Brady Baldwin as he goes into here, he almost doesn't hit the brakes at all. He flicks it sideways as hard as he can. We've actually seen it was the opposite of what I just said. Ryan Jones just showing me up there. Brady's got a...
Oh, there we go. And that tap is going to send Ryan Jones outside the bounds of the wall. Just coming together in mid-air, or just as you're coming off the jump. Never a good idea. Well, Ryan's got to be careful here that he doesn't fall back onto the other side of the circuit. Looks like he's just recovered there. But that's going to be a slight shame for him, as our three leaders still together on this 6th lap of 9. They'll have 3 to go when they come to the line next. And Bob King, I think this is some of the hardest pressure that King has been put under all night. Justin Howe is not letting him go.
Yeah, you can see Justin Howe going so deep under brakes there, trying to flick it sideways, but that long straight there, you really want that long momentum as you come out of it. But just these two staying really together here at the moment, so Bob King isn't really getting away. There was a really rough landing there, almost by both of them. Justin Howe just keeping it off that outside wall. So still a couple of more laps there between these three. Seeing these two at the front there has actually brought Tyler Barton right onto the back of these two. He was sitting about a second back there from second place there for a little bit. We're just seeing Brady Baldwin there with one of his signature slides there going over and under Mitch McLeod, who's now put himself into 4th place now.
Yeah, well, Mitchell McLeod just advancing forward bit by bit. Brady Baldwin making a recovery as well. Lindsay Hobbs, meanwhile, trying his best to work with Craig Roffey for 7th and 8th. They're back together now and running bumper to bumper. Just a slight tap to the back of Craig Roffey. Will this send him wide on the exit of the next turn? Well, Lindsay Hobbs is going to make that happen. Smashes his way up the inside, but allows Craig Roffey to get the position back. Another move for the lead at the hairpin, meanwhile. That is Justin Howe back ahead of Bob King. And you know what? He did the exact same thing he did before. Slid it in and made sure that he was just ahead of King when the slide ended and just backed out of it. So we'll see if Bob King can make a move back up the inside here. Oh, take it easy, boys. Over that jump. It feels like they're constantly on the verge of flipping.
I don't think Bob King's really lifting off there at the moment. You can just see that they're catching up with a bit of lap traffic here, which hopefully isn't going to affect the lead too much there.
Well, as you say that, that's Wilhelm Layton getting... oh no. There we go. That's completely destroyed the lead battle now. That means that Bob King has had to take some evasive action to get back on the circuit. He ended up just behind that wall on the outside of the last turn. So not the first time that that particular truck has been involved with the leaders, but we'll move on swiftly. Craig Roffey is still fighting hard here and just banging wheels there with Lindsay Hobbs, who's now lost another position. Oh dear, 3 trucks coming together. Oh, take it easy. The number 16 there, that's Todd Maxfield, who's managed to find his way through on both of those guys. Some great racing there.
Yes, almost going 3 wide there. We almost couldn't find 3 trucks there. I think Brady Baldwin copying a massive tap there from Craig Roffey. I think all landing on each other just a little bit too hard there. You can just see that damage there from Brady Baldwin. I think he's almost had an instance with every truck there in the almost in the top 10. So just catching that slow motion there.
Oh, that was huge.
That was probably a bit optimistic there by Craig Roffey. We saw some pretty early pace there. That was probably a little bit too deep under brakes. I think he might have missed his braking marker or something.
Well, we're coming up to white flag, and it's Justin Howe and Tyler Barton who are fighting for the lead here. And Tyler Barton, I think, has been one of the star drivers of this third race. He has been there the whole time in that top 3, and he's faced off every single difficulty they've faced, and still trying his best to fire one up the inside of Justin Howe. Just completely flinging it into every turn. He is desperate for this race victory, but Justin seems wise to it, and all he's doing for now is just continuing to maintain that pace, maintain the consistency, maintain the good riding over the bumps. They do have a bit of lap traffic in the form of Daniel Hartigan, who lifts off, I thought was going to lift off to let them go, but it's going to make things difficult for our 2 leaders here. Fires his way across and taps Justin Howe mid-air. That was very close, but it looks like both of them have gotten away with that. Justin Howe managing to hold on to the lead with Tyler Barton there, just making his way past Daniel Hartigan with nary a scratch to be seen. Couple more turns to go, and oh no, there we go. That contact with Daniel Hartigan has meant Tyler Barton has no chance of taking this race victory now. Could he lose third to Bob King, though? Got one more corner to go as Justin Howe comes around the final corner here at Crandon to take victory. Mitchell McLeod up the inside, smashes both of them out of the way and takes second place at the final hurdle. Bob King still completes the podium there. And Tyler Barton, what a drive from him tonight. Just the consistency from Barton in this third race. Here's another view of what Mitch McLeod did. Just thought about sliding it in, then thought, nah, I'm just going to fire it straight for the inside, and to hell with the 2 guys on my outside.
Yeah, what an absolute corner there by, it was almost a, I forget who the skater was, Stephen Bradbury moment there by Mitch McLeod there to get that second place.
Well, there we go. That's the end of it. 5.8 seconds was the gap at the end of it between Howe and McLeod, with King, Barton and Hobbs completing the top 5. Todd Maxfield coming home in 6th, Ryan Jones unfortunately falling to 7th after some difficulties throughout that third race. Brady Baldwin, he was in contention for victory, but he's going to have to settle for 8th. Aaron Dillon survived the carnage, as did Nicholas Walsh, who rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, just outside the top 10. Cameron Dance with a bit better of a run there. Earlier incident getting into 12th place. Jack Flood we didn't see too much of. Daniel Stevens here there in 13th. Craig Roffey we saw with that big incident there, I think on the second last lap. Cade Donnelly, Tom Relia, Zach Blanche, Gary Wellman down there in 17th. Brian Teresi and Daniel Hartigan finishing a lap down.
And Brett Selby Wood coming home in 20th. Wilhelm Leighton coming home 4 laps down there with the rest of our retirees here. Damian Westbrook, Bo Albert, Dwayne Priest, Lockie Dalton, Brenton Hobson. It looks like Tom Relier's actually been given a penalty of some kind, which has put him down there in 27th. Jaden Russell, Riccardo Morganti, and Michael Bianchini did not take to the start for that third race, as did Tom Relier, and Jake Clem did not take to the field at all tonight. So ultimately, that brings to an end proceedings for tonight, and I can't quite believe what's gone down here. I mean, it was something a bit different here for the summer series, but I think we're going to be returning to business as usual next week, and I certainly cannot wait for that. It's going to be a surprise reveal for the next track, the final round of this miniature summer series, before we get back to normal racing for the Pro Truck Showdown. Here at SimSpeed TV, we want to thank you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed the action tonight, and we certainly hope that you'll join us this time next week for the final round. Thanks once again to Racecraft Simulations and Scamander Coffee Mug for their support of this series. I'm Reese Gardner. It was Nick Scarriev alongside me in the commentary box, and Jay Kennedy making everything happen behind the scenes. Bye for now, but not forever.
Fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction. He's got rid of the outside of both of them. Maloney.
Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up to
Oh my God. Big crash. Oh my goodness. Half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are going to want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, here we go. Oh no. That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
God, what?